Okay. Hi, guys. So last week we talked about what Team Cup was, the prizes that you can win for this Team Cup. And then when we were thinking about what we could talk about tonight, Car was like, let's talk about strategy. Because Team Cup can either be an awesome month for your business, or it can be just another month where you kind of go through the motions and you have all these ideas, but nothing actually like plays out. So it's very important now that we're coming to, the end of July, that we kind of have strategy when it comes into Team Cup. Now, just from like a show of hands, who's on a Team Cup team? Is everyone on a Team Cup team? Okay, good. So that's awesome, because everyone should be on a Team Cup team. So if you guys have downline coaches that are working the business, whether they're brand new, I mean, obviously we don't want to overwhelm our brand new coaches, but if they're working the business and they, understand Success Club and all of that, I would encourage them to get on a Team Cup team. I would encourage to help them find a Team Cup team, whether that's posting in the Gold Supremacy and seeing who still needs a team, or in Fit Vibes Tribe, seeing if there's anyone that needs a team, because everyone should be on a team. There's no reason to not be on one, I guess. Sorry, you can probably hear them screaming upstairs. Because you cannot let your team down. I want to make that like very clear, that I think a lot of people, and even when I first joined my first Team Cup team, like my biggest thing was like, oh, I don't want to let them down, because we get into this, like, you get put on a team and everyone's like, yes, let's do this. I want to hit like Success Club 150, like you set these really high goals for yourself, which we should push for those things, because the higher you push, you can only fall, you'll fall and you'll hit your goal. But I want everyone to know that you can't let your team down by being on one, whether you have never hit Success Club before, whether you just signed up as a coach, or whether you've been a coach and you don't hit Success Club consistently, or whatever it may be. You will not let your group down by being on a Team Cup team. The only way you could ever let your Team Cup team down is by not trying, and that honestly is it. If you show up and you're putting in the work and you're doing that behind the scenes stuff that we know we need to do to help as many people as possible, whether that's 3 people a month or 10 people a month, you will never let them down, whether you hit Success Club or not. And just the fun thing about being on a Team Cup team is we get to work with other people and we can kind of feed off of each other's energies. Team Cup is usually a really awesome month for really everyone, because the energy kind of trickles down into the entire team. So I'm really happy that everyone's on a team on this call. And like I said, if you have downline coaches, make sure you encourage them. We only have until the end of this month to get registered for a team, since it starts right on August 1st. So a couple things. Now that we're like, okay, Team Cup, I want to hit, this Team Cup is a little bit different. In the past, it was always a point system. And it was like, if you hit a certain benchmark as a team and you also hit Success Club yourself, you won a certain prize. And it kind of grew, like you had to have a certain amount of points and you'd hit a prize tier. This time, corporate is just really focused on everyone helping each other and everyone hitting Success Club and helping people, rather than pushing to help like hundreds of people. And so this time, if you hit Success Club individually, then you will win the picnic blanket, which is, it's like a daily sunshine picnic blanket, just some like fun swag that you can have out and about and people ask you about what it is. If you all hit Success Club, so you hit Success Club and your other 4 members on your team all hit Success Club, which is hitting Success Club 5. So helping 3 people, right, with a challenge pack or Shakeology HD, you all will win the picnic blanket and the Team Beachbody Coach sweatshirt. So that's really fun. And then obviously if you're a team that they do add up the points still. So if you hit really, really high numbers and you're one of the top 10 teams, you'll win the bicycle, which is also really cool. And then the team with the highest amount of Success Club points wins the trip to corporate in California, and they do the, they get the Team Beachbody Cup and all of that, which is something that everyone should shoot for. If I'm being honest, most of the people who win Team Cup are new coach teams. They're not like these experienced coaches. It's a bunch of new coaches that just kind of commit to working their butts off and helping as many people as they can. So you guys should discuss that with your Team Cup team. And so that's what I'm kind of going to talk about, is whether you're the Team Cup captain, which really means nothing, if I'm being honest. I mean, you should take the leadership role if that's your goal, if you're the one that kind of put the team together, because I do think that every team needs a leadership role type of person to kind of guide them. But whether you were the person that created and registered the team, that are official team leader, it's important. Are you going to bed? Okay. Night. It's important to work together as a team and to have either a Facebook group as a team. You came up with a team name, so call it whatever your team name is, and have either a private Facebook group with just the 5 of you guys, or a thread, whichever you guys prefer. In the past, people, it's just really what people prefer, because there's so many groups and there's so many threads. So it's like, figure out what your group enjoys more, figure out what they will get the most out of. If they just see a notification on their Facebook notifications from a group and they are someone to just scroll through and ignore it, you probably want to do a thread, because that will kind of catch their attention more. But you want to have something where you guys are constant in communication. And I'm talking about from like right now, this week. This is when you want to prep and kind of set goals as a team and figure out, what do we want to hit as a team? Obviously, I'm sure everyone's goal is to at least hit Success Club as a team, so that, you win that fun sweatshirt and all that cool swag. But figure out like what each other's goals are, what your team goal is. Maybe you want to hit 50 points altogether. Maybe you want to hit 100 altogether, whatever it is. And it can be as big or as small as you want. But figure that out, brainstorm that together this week. Something that is also recommended, and again, if you're not the team leader on your Team Cup team, you can suggest these things to, if you have a person that's in the leadership role, like, hey, what do you think about doing this? But doing a weekly Zoom, kind of like what we do with our team calls here. And whether that's bi-weekly, I would suggest weekly, just because that's when you're really going to plug in together. So figure out a time that works. Probably going to be at nighttime, figure out whether it's on Monday nights after our team calls, because everyone joins together anyways, or right before, or if a different night works better. But having just, whether it's 20 minutes, just checking in with the team and seeing how you're doing, what's working, what's not working, share strategies, and just kind of talk it over together. So weekly Zoom check-ins. That's something you'll want to schedule in with your team through your thread or your Facebook group. Another thing that you can do to even be more like on each other as far as what we say we're going to do is have a weekly business activity tracker check-in. So everyone should be kind of following some sort of bat. Whether you make up your own, whether you use one of the ones in the team page and the photo albums, whether it says you do 3 invites a day or 10 invites a day, like everyone kind of has their idea of what they do in their business. And when you meet with your team and you decide your goal, say you want to help 20 people this month. So you kind of have to break that down. Okay, how many invites do I need to do per week? How many people do I need to engage with and form connections with in order to turn that into helping 20 people? And that's how you're going to break all of that down. So you can even say, okay, guys, every Sunday we're going to post in a team thread a screenshot or in the group of our business activity trackers for that week, so that we can be like, kind of like how I'm saying, you can never let your team down unless if you don't try type of thing. So if you're sending, you kind of just hold you to what you say you want to do and what you're going to do, which is only going to move your personal business forward anyways. But that's something you can do too, is check in with your business activity trackers weekly. And then you guys can kind of hold each other accountable. And then it just gets you in the habit of doing it anyways. And if you enjoy that accountability, either stay with your cup team after team cup and continue to do it kind of as type of like a big success partner group, or send it to your upline coach, because that's great ways to check in and just hold yourself accountable. If you know somebody else is expecting you to send that on Sunday once you finish your week, then go ahead and do that. Another thing is mini challenges throughout your team. And this can be like, so for example, a couple team cups ago, it was probably like 2 years ago, one of the teams that I was on, we had a really, really successful team. And we all hit really, really high numbers. And there were a lot of new coaches on the team. We were all new, we were starting out, but we all hit like 20 plus Success Club numbers. And what we did, one, we were obviously very focused on what we were doing, but we would have like mini challenges. So we would say, okay, guys, so say today's Monday. We'd say, okay, guys, I want to help 2 people by Thursday. And so we would challenge each other to help 2 people get signed up with a challenge pack by Thursday of that week. And it's like, if you helped 1 people or you helped no people by Thursday, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like, oh my God, you suck so bad, Ash, you can like help 2 people in 3 days. Like, it wasn't like that. It was just kind of like you knew what you had to do and you pushed, and chances are if you didn't help those 2 people by Thursday, you probably helped them by the end of the week or the beginning of the next week, because you were just doing those things that you needed to do to have that outcome. So you can have many challenges like that. Something that I always suggest for Team Cup, if you guys are a pen and paper type of person, or whether you're a digital type of person, I use my iPhone calendar a lot. But I also I just have a planner with my calendar, and I always write when our team calls are, what we're talking about, all that stuff. And something that I would suggest to those of you that enjoy a pen and paper so you can physically see and write it down what you're doing, on a calendar, write down what you want to hit by each day. So it's the same type of thing of those mini challenges. You know, you would write, okay, by the end of week 1, I want to be at Success Club 4. By the end of, on this date, I want to be at 10. I want to be at 12. And whatever your goal is, write that at the very top of the calendar and then break it down. And don't be afraid to have that Success Club number change every couple of days. Don't think that you can't write Success Club 5 until the very end of the month, because honestly, you've got to think bigger than that. That's what Team Cup is all about. It's just kind of pushing yourself to your full potential. And most of the times, Team Cup is when we see our full potential. It's when we see what we really are capable of, that we, from fear, hold ourselves back from doing every single month. But so write on those dates what you would like to hit, how many people you would like to help by this date. And it's that same concept of whether you didn't do it by that date, you probably are going to do it within the next couple of days, because you're just so focused on that. And so I always love to do that, because for me, when I write something down, it just kind of like clicks in my brain a little bit better. But if you're more of a digital person, you can do the same thing in the calendar on your phone. If you use Google Calendar, I think it's called, you can do that same type of thing. Just those like little reminders in your head, like, okay, I need to help 2 people by this date. So I need, this is what I know I need to do. And you can even do like little team prizes and rewards on your own if you want. Now it can be like you guys can set, okay, if I hit Success Club 5 by this date and I hit Success Club 10 by this date, or, I hit my goal by this date, then you guys set your own little rewards. It's kind of like what I do in our challenge groups is I ask my challengers to set little non-scale victory rewards. So like say they lose a pant size, like whether they say, I lose a pant size, I'm going to go get my nails done because I did that, or I'm going to go buy a new pair of workout pants, or, so you can do that same type of thing with your team, with your individual Team Cup team is, when you guys hit Success Club 5, you set something that you want to go out and do for yourself or do for someone else, or whatever makes you happy and brings you joy. For me, I usually pick things like get my nails done, because I don't do that. Like, for me, it's like a treat for me. Or go get new shoes or whatever it is. So you can do that. You can do a team prize where you can give something away to each other or whatever, but make it fun. This should be a really fun time. This is when you should be working with your team and getting to know your teammates and just kind of vibing and working together to hit those goals. And I promise you, if you guys put the effort into your teams and show up and, show up for yourselves, but show up for your team too, you're going to have so much fun and you're going to have a great month. And you're not only going to have a great August, but you're going to have a great September and October, because for those of us that have, sorry, my back is killing me from camping in a pop-up. For those of us that have been coaching for a little bit, we know that the conversations you have today, for the most part, are people that are going to commit a month or two from now. Very little are you going to message someone, invite them, connect with them, and then buy a challenge pack and sign up for your group all in the same day. So that's why it's so important to constantly be having those connections and talking. And that's why I say start now with it. Don't hold yourself back. Don't wait for August. If you have people that are interested, this is a big no-no, and this is a big mistake that a lot of coaches will make, and I've been very tempted to do it too, is you might already be at Success Club right now. So you're like, okay, I'm going to hold everyone off until August because I want those Team Cup points for August, right? Don't do that. I promise you those people will come up with some reason not to order that challenge pack, and then you will be kicking yourself because you will have basically kind of put all your eggs in one basket on those people that told you they were ready to order. But because you, for some reason, was like, you know what, next week's better for me. I'm going to send you the link and you can get started because you were kind of greedy and wanted those August points. They're going to come up with an excuse as to why they can't do it. So don't wait. If someone tells you they're ready right now, whether you are at Success Club 25 or 50, let them order. Send them the link because you will find new people for August. Don't hold them off. I have been at the very end of the month and have had a really great month, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to not answer her, and I'm going to send her the link tomorrow because then I'll start my new month off great. And I'm like, no, don't do that, because she probably will be like, oh, sorry, like my cat needed to go to the vet and now I can't order the challenge pack, because that's exactly what happens, guys. Like, and I'm sure it's all happened to us, but like, you're so ready to order something and buy something, and then you're like, crap, my kid just came to me. They don't fit into anything. Now we need to go buy them new sneakers. And there goes that money that we set for ourselves for that challenge pack. And it whether you have kids or not, like that's just something always comes up. Something in the house goes wrong. You need this, you need that, whatever. So don't hold off until August if people are ready to commit right now. And my last tip is just to try new things. If you have been trying something over and over again and you're not seeing a huge payout, obviously stay consistent with things. You should do something for at least a month until you start to see a result from it. But if you are afraid to reach out to people other than the people that comment and like on your posts, that's something that this month it's time to get over it. It's time to just kind of send those messages, shut your computer, and go walk away for an hour and then come back to it. If it scares you that much, just do it, close your eyes, and just be like, okay, send, and walk away. Because we have to get over those fears. Same thing with going live. If you guys don't go live on Facebook, they say that majority of the people that retain information now is through videos. And I'm horrible at this. I'm going to push myself to go live more often on Facebook and post more workout videos. And I love to do like the Insta stories thing because that's just easy for me. That's like a comfort zone. I can erase it if I don't like it, and a live video, you can't do that. I mean, I guess you can delete it, but so I'm going to push myself to go live more often on my Facebook and my Instagram this month to push out of my comfort zone. But we have to try those new things because everything evolves and we have to evolve with it. And if we stay, it was just like Chalene Johnson at Summit was talking about how everything that was working last year no longer works right now when it comes to marketing. At the end of the day, we're marketing ourselves, or at least we should be marketing ourselves. That's why we always say don't like hashtag Beachbody and talk about, she talked about, and I can actually post the video. It's on YouTube of her summit talk because it was really, really good. So I'll post that on the team page. If you guys have time, I would watch that. She talked about what's working right now is no longer attraction marketing. Okay, so no longer are we trying to attract people to us. Now we want them to be curious, and that will attract them to us. So she was talking about curiosity marketing. So that's why, if you guys have noticed, myself included, I've been trying to say my new 3-week agility program rather than saying shift shop right off the bat. Or that's why we say like our superfood shake rather than Shakeology. Because what happens is if you get people to be curious, like if you've ever followed someone and they're like, oh my gosh, I just lost 10 pounds. I'm so happy I found this program and something that works for me with this easy meal plan. And it was so simple. I was able to follow it. Finally, I feel so good about myself. You would probably be like, what is she doing? Like, what program is she doing? What meal plan is she following? That's what you want people to do, because then people will message you and say, hey, what is that workout that you're doing that you like saw such great results from? But if you say, I just completed 21-day fix and I feel amazing and I drink my Shakeology and blah, 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 immediately people have this preconceived notion in their brain of what the 21-day fix is. Their one friend did it who never put any effort into it, didn't lose a pound, so it's not going to work for them. Or they're going to go right on Google and they're going to type in the 21-day fix and they're going to see a top coach who has a blog and they're going to join them, or they're going to buy it off eBay, or they're going to buy it off Amazon, or they're going to get it from their friend. Excuse me, guys. Good night, guys. I love you. Sweet dreams. You like wanted to say hi. So that's why we don't want to come out right up front and say exactly what we're doing. And so I'll post that in the team page because I think it'd be really good for everyone to watch just in general, but especially for Team Cup Month, is just make people curious, make people want to message you and be like, what is she doing? Like, she talks about this superfood shake that helps her digestion. I talk a lot about, and I'll hashtag because I have thyroid issues. So I attract a lot of people now on Instagram that also have thyroid issues. And I talk about how it's helped me and how there's adaptogens in the shake that I never even knew that was in there, to be honest, that helped my thyroid. And so when you do these things and you put these little jabs of information, you want people to reach out to you and be like, what is that? She shows up every day on her Insta stories or on her Instagram and she's got this shake in her hand, like, and she loves it so much. What is it? Right? So if you have time, or make the time to watch that video, but you guys can kind of get the idea, is just make people curious about what you're doing. And that's kind of my tips for Team Cup as far as that goes. So if you are not the team leader or the person who gathered the team, if they were unable to join this call tonight, encourage them to watch the recording. I'll post it in the team page probably later tonight. Or encourage them some of the things that you learned tonight too. Like, hey, what do you think about doing this? What do you think about meeting for a weekly Zoom call with our team, just to figure out what we're doing together? And encourage that to happen this week. The first meeting to be this week, because you want it. You don't want August 1st to come and be like, oh shit, what are we doing? What's our goals? You want that established this week so everyone's on the same page. And everyone knows exactly what they're doing to hit their goals. And I promise you guys will have the most amazing August, the most amazing Team Cup month, and just fall months in general. Every month is hard in this business. I will be honest. There's not months where people run to you. There will never be months when people run to you, and there will always be slow months, okay? Now that we're getting into August, I hate to say this for those of you that are teachers, but people start to think about back to school. Back to school equals spending money on their kids to go back to school. I know Jackie doesn't want to hear that, but and the last thing people think about is themselves, because once we get into, I know we're still in summer, so I'm not trying to push fall, but once we get into fall time, people are like, I'll just cover up with a sweater type of thing. There's always those months. You would think in summertime, people are like, I want to lose weight, blah, blah, blah. And now they're like, oh, it's already summer. I'm here. I am what I am type of thing. So there's never easy months in this business. You can't ever expect people to just come leaping out of the computer screen into your messenger. You guys have to step out of your comfort zone and make sure you're showing up consistently. Make sure you're showing up. If you guys don't post, like try to have a routine. And I know Jackie had asked me to do kind of a team call on Insta stories. So maybe we'll do something about that next week, but kind of have like a routine when it comes to your platform of social media so that people expect to see it when they come to see your page. Because if you guys follow other people, like I know there's coaches on my Instagram that I know I can go to their page and I'll watch their Insta stories, and they are always going to show up with a workout. They're always going to show up with their Shakeology. They're always going to show up doing something. And it's always kind of a routine type of thing. And so I encourage you guys to try and figure that out too. And even if it's not the same time every day, because like I've noticed for me, I can't necessarily do the same time every day for everything. It makes me anxious if I miss it. And so I just make sure I show up at some point. So I encourage you guys to do the same and kind of just step out of your comfort zone this month. And you will have a rocking Team Cup month. And then we can all be on a Zoom chat. We'll probably get them in September with our new hoodies on and take it to a virtual team pick. Let me text team chat. Yay, Ash. I can't believe you. Well, you were over on Snapchat. That's probably why. Yeah, I stopped doing, I know. I stopped doing Snapchat too. As much as I loved the filters. Oh, good, Addie. I have to go look at it. I had no service all weekend besides for like 5 minutes when my brother and Tiff, who's on our team, got engaged this weekend. So that was really exciting. So we had like 5 seconds to post about that, and then I couldn't check anything, which is probably good just for me to unplug for a little bit. But good. I'm going to go look at it. Does anyone have any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself, or you can type in the chat, specifically about Team Cup or anything at all. We have like 10 minutes before we get kicked off, and if not, we can just go ahead and end a little early tonight. Is everyone excited for Team Cup? I am. I just love Team Cup because it just kind of gives me like a boost in my business every time it comes around. I don't know what it is. It's just like a fresh type of thing. Just like with Shift Shop. Who started Shift Shop today? I literally felt, my cheeks are still red from my workout, and I literally felt like I was going to pass out, and I've done this workout like 3 times already.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, and I'm following the meal plan. I love how easy. I literally just wrote it down, went to the grocery store. I'm like, this is great.
I feel like everyone's loving the meal plan. I've seen like with this program, usually like I see like 5 or 6 people like just from our like Fit Vibes driver, like TGS, just like people that I don't know too posting in the group. But this time I feel like I've seen a heck of a lot more people actually preparing the meals. I haven't done it yet, so like I shouldn't talk, but I'm like, I've looked at it, I just haven't done it yet. But it's very encouraging.
Yeah. Cassie, you're on week 2. How was week 1?
Amazing. I'm down just over 4 pounds, and I haven't done final measurements, but Saturday it was 3.5 inches.
Cassie, your post was fit. Like, shout out to her today, because her post was like, it was almost like a story. Like, I thought I was reading a book. Like, it was just so and it was a fantastic post. I was gonna share it because that was awesome. I have
to go look at everyone's posts now that I'm back in the virtual world.
It was really good.
That's awesome. So I'm someone that, like, I'll be honest, I, besides the Ultimate Reset, have like never really well, and T25, my very first program, when I wasn't even a coach yet, I have never followed a meal plan, like to a T. And I think the reason why I love this one is because I'm slightly lazy, if I'm being honest also. And like, I don't want to create my own through the guide, even though I kind of can get like the containers I get by now, because I've been using them for a long time. But like the Ultimate Reset was great for me because it was laid out. I could meal prep. I knew exactly what I was eating. So I think that's why I like this so much, is because it's the same type of thing. I don't even have to think. I know exactly what I'm eating. So I think that's going to be great. I would encourage your challengers, if they're not following the meal plan, to at least try it, because I mean, we know the meal plans are the biggest part of all of these programs. And I think specifically with Shift Shop, because it changes each week. So I would really encourage your guys, challengers, to follow the meal plan too.
The meal plan's been key for Shift Shop. Paleo has always been, I've been to naturopaths and stuff. It's always worked the best for me anyway.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, even Jesse's following it, and we followed it to a T. Jesse is a chip-aholic and hasn't wanted chips since day 2.
That's awesome.
And both of us really enjoy alcohol, and both of us have been dry for a week without any issues. Like, it's sustainable, and it really gives you everything you could possibly need.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do you go from the free group to get them on the challenge pack? Oh, I think that's to you, Cassie.
Free group to challenge pack, that is a little harder to do, but for me, it's not getting them to the challenge pack. It's getting them open to changing their lifestyle. And then by changing their lifestyle, that's where I start to get the engagement and have the one-on-one conversations. So for me, the free group is not selling Beachbody at all. It's just driving more of an audience that might not be a Beachbody audience. It's more of a generalized audience, to getting those engaged one-on-one conversations.
Yeah. Just from my experience I love that you do that. So it's more of just like a fit community type of thing, like encouraging everyone. Yeah. Like, that's great. And then obviously when you do go to invite those people, they know you, they trust you, they like you, all of that good stuff. And then, they're more likely to say yes to something, even if it takes, them a little bit. But Sarah, if you're interested in doing free groups, there's a lot of things on YouTube, and I can even find a specific one. We had a team call, and it was actually really good. One of the guest speakers, I can't remember her name. She gave us the recipe that she uses and everything. Free groups for me are not my thing, just because I don't put a ton of effort into it. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, is like, when you do things like that, you have to put like your heart and soul into it and not expect anything back. I think is the biggest thing, is like, because I used to, when I first started, free groups were encouraged. When we first started, I was in a new coach training with Raina and Sam, and that was like the very first assignment, was to create a free group, like a clean eating free group. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm getting all these 30 people signed up with a challenge pack. It's gonna be so great. And that was my mindset. So I think you have to go into free groups of like, I'm going to help these people and like give them information and as much content as I can without expecting anything back from them. Cause that's just going to gain like their trust. And then eventually down the road, when you invite them and they continue to see that you're consistent and you're the real deal and all that, then they'll join you. But I think what's going to be great, and I know this won't necessarily be free, but I don't know about anyone else, I'm really excited for the Clean Week program. Because it is only going to be $29.95, and they'll get like all of that for those 7 days. And I think that will be a great transition. It's going to be the same type of thing. Expect nothing in return other than that week. But I think that's going to be a great transition into a challenge pack, because you're going to get a taste for it. And then they're on that day 8, when they're out, they're going to be like, crap, I want more. And then hopefully they'll transition into a 21 or a 30-day group.
For my, going back to the free group kind of thing, I don't market it as free groups either. Like I have a Facebook group and I suffer from anxiety and depression. So my big focus there, it's called Positivity Pledge. So every day I just post a positive affirmation or a self-love affirmation. And that just drives people to keep going into that. And that's also a way to have conversations. It's not all about fitness for body. And that's, I think, going to tie in really well with the clean week, so that it's body and mind and nutrition and fitness.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, so that's something people can try too. And I would encourage you guys, if you're going to try something like what Cassie does, whether it's a free group or just like a fit community type of thing, to open that up now. Like, figure out a name and figure out what you want to put your heart and soul into, and open that up this week, because then you never know, like those people, you can, in groups, you can create event pages too. Like, I don't know if you kind of like how we do for the team calls. So you guys could put an event page in for a challenge group you're hosting in those groups. And then, then that's a way for people to kind of check it out on their own. So that's something to think about too, but just keep in mind, like how Cassie connects to it because of her struggles and what she wants to help people. Like when you're doing something like that, just really, not that you need a ton of thought into it, but just kind of go with your gut and put like your heart into it. And that's when it will be successful. Whether that's just, you want people to post on their own, and encourage other people, that's when that will happen.
Yeah. Don't be icky and salesy in these groups or you won't have that engagement. You have to actually be genuine and like what you're talking about.
Yeah. Don't be icky and salesy in general. But all right, guys, we're going to get kicked off. So I'm going to say goodnight to everyone. If you guys have any questions about Team Cup, make sure you guys go to your team. Hopefully you guys will all have a group meeting this week at some point. And if you guys have downline coaches that you're unsure of that are on a team, make sure you message them, encourage them to join a team, help them find team members. And hopefully this was helpful. And we will talk to you guys all next week. I'll post that Shelly Johnson video in our page if anyone wants to check that out.